Now we're being told we need to reduce by 80%. What has changed over the last 10 years, in terms of our understanding of these trends? Are the trends speeding up more quickly than we had anticipated? What accounts for that? And I'll just give you the second question as well, and that's, you've talked about sea level rise. Actually, this is kind of related to what you were just talking about. Here in Oregon, we're also concerned about the effects of ocean acidification on our shellfish and the warming oceans in general on seafood production. So could you speak to those as well?
Yeah. So there's sort of three parts to the answer. The first is, if you go back and look at the year 2000, at that point the warmest temperature, the warmest year globally was 1998, which was pushed into that position by El Nino as well as greenhouse gases. Since then, we've had about 10 years that were warmer than 1998. So it's fallen way down in the ranking. So we've had just continued warming. We've also had a considerable growth in our understanding of the carbon cycle as it is now and as it was then. I wouldn't quibble about whether it's 75 or 80% reduction relative to 1990. The point is that at whatever level of greenhouse gases we stabilize, it will require all of these red arrows in the net to add up to zero. So whatever we emit by burning fossil fuels and or cutting down trees faster than we grow them, that would then have to be offset through some kind of carbon reduction capture and storage scheme, which ends up, currently those schemes are far more expensive than reducing emissions. So, it's partly a question of how far into the future we let these things increase. Now, ocean acidification is a direct result of this arrow here, which is that higher CO2 in the atmosphere gets dissolved in the ocean and turns into carbonic acid, and so it makes the ocean more acidic, or some would argue slightly less basic because it's on the basic side of pH of 7. But we've already observed roughly a 0.1 pH change in the global ocean, and it's thought that during this century it could go roughly another half pH unit, which is actually quite a large change. And in laboratories, shelled organisms start to fare badly already with the level of CO2 that we've dissolved in the atmosphere, in the ocean already.